Bane, after freeing Arkham's villains to wear Batman down, invaded the Batcave and uncovered Bruce Wayne's identity and famously broke his back, taking control of Gotham's underworld. Though Azrael briefly replaced Batman and defeated Bane, Bruce eventually healed and reclaimed his role, leaving Bane marked by his venom addiction and legacy of chaos. But the story of Bane was far from over. Years later, we find ourselves in an arena in Mexico, where a man is introduced as the Bat from Gotham City. Dressed head to toe like Batman, he stepped into the ring to face the reigning world champion, the one and only Bane. For the audience, it was pure entertainment, but for Bane, it was a painful echo of the past. As he stared at the man dressed as his greatest foe, his mind wandered back to the real Batman and the battles that had defined his life. Done. Broken. The match was brutal and short. Bane left the Bat on the mat as the audience erupted in chants of his name. Back in the locker room, Bane removed his mask. His smile had vanished. He looked older, his face marked by time and battles long past. And then, to his surprise, the wrestler he had seemingly crippled walked in unscathed. He praised Bane for his performance and confessed that his injury had been nothing more than a staged act. He's a huge fan of Bane. Bane stormed out, pushing past the hollow compliments, and was immediately engulfed by fans desperate for a glimpse of their hero. He collected his payment from the event organizer, who dangled temptations before him: money, women, pleasures meant to numb the soul. But Bane refused. He left the arena, carrying not triumph, but heaviness. He returned to his mansion, stripping off the sweat and blood in a long shower, but the feeling of emptiness clung to him like a shadow. Alone in his living room, Bane's mind returned to the moment that defined him, when he broke Batman. His thoughts were interrupted when a stranger broke into his mansion. The man looked nervous but determined. He claimed he carried something important. Then he pulled out a vial of glowing green liquid. Venom. Impossible. How? Bane froze. It was as if a ghost had materialized before him. The stranger explained that a large estate in Texas had begun mass-producing venom. He admitted he was only a delivery driver. The stranger said that a mad doctor named Dr. Randolph had created it. The military had wanted to use it to create super soldiers, but Batman had not allowed that. He mentioned that Dr. Porter had died from an overdose of venom, yet that hadn't stopped others from experimenting with it on people. Over the years, all traces of venom had supposedly been destroyed, leaving none in the entire world. But now, word was spreading that people would pay big money for it. Bane's hands trembled as he stared at the vial. Memories flooded back, the overwhelming surge of power, the intoxicating control. No one can break my will. The world will scream my name. For a moment, temptation was out of control, but then, never again. He hurled the vial into the fire. Flames swallowed it, and the stranger's eyes widened in shock. Furious, the man demanded compensation, $100,000 for the lost supply. Bane's patience snapped. He grabbed him by the throat and ordered him to take him to the estate. The man, realizing who he was truly dealing with, collapsed in fear. But Bane corrected him. He was not just the man who broke Batman. He was the man who killed him. Help! No! Please. We were just following orders. They didn't tell us what was in the boxes. We don't want anything to do with that junk. That's all. I swear. Don't, please! Ah! This is none of your business, Batman. Help me, please. You are always my business, Bane. Bruce Wayne had dedicated his life to eradicating venom, determined to wipe every trace of it from the earth. When they faced each other, Bane had sought a truce. He had offered Batman a chance to join forces to destroy Venom together. But Batman refused. He saw only a criminal who had to be stopped, no matter the cost. To Bane, that refusal had not just been about justice, it had been about fear. He believed Batman was terrified of his own past, afraid that working with Venom again would drag him back into addiction. Bane had urged Bruce to let go of that fear, to work together for something greater, but Batman's pride stood in the way. Bane paused his story. The journey was long. As the car rumbled down the road, Bane turned to the young man and asked why he had chosen such a dangerous path of dealing drugs. Then, the young man started to tell his story. His father had been a venom dealer, arrested and gone, leaving him with a crushing debt. The boy had grown up with the weight of his father's sins on his shoulders. Selling venom wasn't a choice, it was survival. He only wanted a way out, a chance at a new life. When they reached a hill overlooking the sprawling estate, Bane advised they part from there, but the young man's curiosity pushed him to ask the question at his mind. How did he kill Batman? And so, Bane revealed the truth.
We hardly spoke a word. In our silence, we came to a kind of understanding of each other that we never had before. I would not call it a kinship, but we finally saw that it was our destiny to forever have conflict in the dark, whether against each other or a common enemy. That understanding led to Venom's near destruction in our wake. But with Batman, all roads always lead back to Gotham.
They confronted a venom-infused monster named Grudge. Grudge's plan was apocalyptic. Flood the city with venom, turning Gotham into a breeding ground of addicts and monsters. Bane and Batman fought side by side, cutting through Grudge's forces.
Can you get Grudge? Not without getting infected. I have more than enough inside of me for the both of you, and every single helpless soul won't have to worry about being weak ever again. You two know what venom is like, how much it can give you what you need. And now, so too will Gotham.
Suddenly, the young man told him to hold on and suggested putting a pin in that, adding that they needed to be careful. From the hill, they finally caught sight of the venom shipments, but with so many guards on watch, they chose to wait until nightfall, and so the story resumed.
We managed to subdue Grudge's army, but Grudge escaped to the roof and plotted to commandeer Batman's plane to spread his venom above Gotham. Batman and I had planned for this. Batman, we're out of time! My EMP should be enough to knock out Grudge's powers and stop the spread of his venom to Gotham, but we need to be far away or it could... You would deny Gotham the strength they need to live? Bane, activate the EMP! You feel that, Batman? That rush. The venom is in you now. Bane, Grudge is right. His venom will be too strong for me to kick. Activate the EMP. If I do that, you will... Bane, go!
Bane, his whole life, had sacrificed himself not only for the city, but for Bane as well. Bane's voice lowered. Since that night, he had carried the weight of Batman's death. He swore to stop anyone who dared continue the cycle of venom, to honor the memory of the man who had once been his enemy, and, in his final moments, his ally. Before the boy could respond, their car was attacked. Electricity surged through them, dropping them to the ground. Bane's vision blurred, and he saw his mother. She whispered to him that his journey was nearly over, that it was time to rest. In his dream, he reconciles with his mother, and she tells Bane that she's proud of him. When he awoke, he was shackled, beaten, and mocked by his captors. They told him that the boy had already served his purpose, luring Bane into their trap. Now, he was gone. The laughter of his enemies echoed in his ears as they prepared to drag him before their master. But Bane's rage burned brighter than his pain. He broke free, crushing his captors one by one until only silence remained. Bloodied but unbroken, he followed the path deeper into the estate until he found the truth. It was Dr. Porter. Dr. Porter said that the other person did not know him, but he was a big fan. He explained that he had followed their adventures since the very beginning and felt they had to meet at least once. He revealed that while he had created Venom, they were his true life's work. Porter welcomed him, almost like an old friend. He revealed that he had perfected Venom at last, creating a formula that promised not just strength, but even a defiance of death itself. He had chosen the boy as his final test subject, and now he offered Bane a chance to reclaim everything he had lost. The promise of power shimmered before Bane, but he turned away. He would not be a slave again. The fight was brutal. Porter, enhanced by his perfected venom, struck with monstrous force. Bane freed the boy and urged him to escape, but Porter retaliated by breaking Bane's back. Agony seared through him, yet still he fought on. Porter tried to sway the boy, dangling venom before him like salvation, but the young man shattered the pills in defiance, refusing to continue the cycle. Enraged, Porter attempted to inject him by force, and in that final moment, Bane summoned the last of his strength. He drop-kicked Porter.
If the bot can do it, so can I. I was always more than venom. I was hardened by my life.
He seized a vial of venom and hurled it at Porter. The explosion engulfed the factory in flames, consuming everything. Later, the news declared that the Venom War was over. Authorities celebrated the destruction of the Texas operation, while Bane, barely alive, was carried into a hospital. Bane is now a hero to the world. There, in the shadows of the hospital room, Bruce Wayne appeared, alive but hidden.
I beat you. Again. So you did.
Batman revealed that he had been tracing the Venom supply line himself. Bane had simply reached the end first. For the first time, Bruce thanked him. But Bane, lying broken in the bed, asked for something else. One last fight. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but for release. Bruce looked at him with quiet strength and refused. He told Bane that pain was universal, but so was the chance to rise above it. He urged him to find purpose, to turn his suffering into something that could inspire good.
I know how one day can control the shape of the rest of our lives. It is a struggle I can never escape, but I try to own it, to share my life with others, and to use it to inspire good. Before, when you were in Peñadura, I came to you in a vision and challenged you. Today, I do that again. Find a reason to live, a new day, and then we can fight again.
Time passed. The mansion that once symbolized Bane's loneliness was sold. He walked away from his past, taking the boy with him. No longer the monster born of venom, no longer the shadow that lived only to fight Batman. Bane chose something different.
I may have been created in the dark, but I will now live in the light.